So there were two performance measures in the rulemaking. One was for good bridges, one was for poor bridges. The state of New Hampshire has been tracking our what we call red list bridges or structurally deficient bridges for many years. In New Hampshire, a bridge is considered anything with a span of 10 foot or more. And so we've been providing that to the public for a long time, and then as well as federal definition bridges of 20 foot. So this is really a subset for bridges on the NHS of what we have already been providing. I might add, map 21 did change the NHS. We added a lot more area, or a lot more bridges or area to the NHS, roads I should say, to the NHS. Basically roads that connected to airports and so forth. The airport access road here in Manchester is a huge bridge, and that's on the NHS, as well as bridges that are in municipalities. In New Hampshire, we don't own all our bridges. It's a little card that I carry around in my pocket. It shows the number of state-owned bridges. On the top, it's 2,159. Our red list bridges by bridge is 153. But in addition to that, you see that there's almost 1,700 that are municipally owned. And we don't necessarily have jurisdiction over those. We do the inspections of them. We recommend postings or closures or so forth. But it's really, the bridges are owned by the municipalities, and that's up to the cities or towns to post or close those bridges. I might add the yellow or fair condition bridges. It shows in state-owned there's almost 800. We used to look at what we called pink lists or near red list bridges, and there were almost 300. So when we changed for adding condition states 5 and 6, we more than doubled the number that are, as we call it, mediocre. So as I said, New Hampshire's been tracking our red list bridges by numbers for a long time. This is just a copy of a sheet that we put out every April 1st to the public. And in this case, it goes back 15 years, but we can go back further than that. And you can see the numbers changed, added and removed. But the total, we got down to 137, and recently we've been climbing back up again. Now, that doesn't show you area. One of bridge maintenance's performance measures is how many bridges did you take off the red list? So here's the numbers that were taken off the red list. And you can see the Bureau of Bridge Maintenance by numbers makes a significant contribution to that. So if we were going to look at bridges on the NHS, red, yellow, green, currently, as you can see, here's where we stand in New Hampshire. 6 years ago, we were at about 10%. Currently, we're at about 7% that are in poor condition, and we're about 58% that are in good condition. You can also notice by the numbers there's quite a change in the total area. Back in 2010, there was almost 6 million square feet of total bridge area, and now there's almost 7 million square feet. Well, once again, we built some big bridges. We've replaced some bridges. It seems like every time we repair or replace a bridge, it gets a lot bigger. And then with the change of the NHS, we've added quite a bit of area. So I worry about a few things, or a few concerns with these proposed rulemaking. First of all, there's a lot of municipal bridges. Of the 7%, it's about a quarter of that that's in poor condition is on a town or a city bridge. So the state doesn't have a policy at this point to entice towns to take better care, do bridge preservation on their structures. So we would have to somehow make a policy to prioritize money that goes to towns. Also, we don't necessarily control the funding, so the legislature controls that, so we would have to prioritize to the NHS, which would actually be at the expense of lower tier bridges. Similar to Maine, we have tiers. Our tier 1 is basically our interstate. Tier 2 would be our NHS. So, and then tier 5 is our town roads. So the lower tier bridges would not receive as high priority, which they shouldn't, but they would be neglected even more if we had to force all our funding towards NHS structures. So, and then lastly, we would have to put together our performance targets and what's significant progress, and that part I'm not really clear on at this point. Thank you.